Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Nicola. I am a mum of 3. I have a little boy called Lucas who's 6, and I have twin girls Harper and Quinn who are now 2.5. Over on here I discuss everything from mum life, twin life and Down syndrome awareness. I cover a lot of topics such as Makaton and Down syndrome therapy as well. And if you want to see more from us on a daily basis, then make sure you check out our Instagram account, which is @BaileyandTheBabies. So let's get started with today's video. So this is part of the Down syndrome therapy series, and if you have not seen the first one, then make sure you check that one out too. But this one today is going to be covering communication skills. So if you have a child with Down syndrome, you may already be aware that the communication skills may take longer for that child to develop. This can be surrounding 2 sort of areas. One of the areas is linked to their cognition, so their ability to understand the form of communication. And the second one can actually be round about their how they communicate, so the tone. So children with Down syndrome have something called hypertonia, which is a lack of muscle tone, which this also affects the tongue and the mouth muscles as well, which can make communication and verbal communication in particular quite difficult for them to actually articulate. We use a form of communication with Harper that's referred to as Makaton. Sometimes people call it baby signs. So this is a form of British Sign Language, but it is easier for a child to interpret. I have done a full series on Makaton if you want to learn any of the Makaton skills. And I also have some single signages over on my Instagram account as well under my highlights of Makaton. So I'm going to talk to you about the portage therapy that we do with Harper linked to her communication. I will start right back again when she had just turned 1 year old and up to today, which is 2.5, to tell you what we are doing with her and how we are aiding her communication skills. So one of the first things that we practiced is getting Harper to recognise a single object. So we may have something like this, and we would just keep saying to her over and over again, duck, duck. We'd also use the Makaton sign for duck, which is this. So we'd say duck, and do the sign and get her to look towards the duck itself. And we just kept doing this over and over again on a daily basis with a lot of similar objects that she knew. So it might have been a duck, or we've got a ball. She knew things like a bear. We just get her to look at it and recognise these objects, and just making sure we're familiarising her with what the words are for these objects as well. Once we've been practicing that, I think for about a few months, I'd say two months or so, so a good 8 weeks, we kept practicing with a particular 3 types of objects. The main ones that we started with was duck, ball and a brick. And then what we'd be doing is we'd try and get her to look towards or touch, if possible, one of those objects. So I'd go to Harper, duck, ball, where's ball? And I'm wanting her to touch the ball or look in this direction of the ball. And then if she did that, we'd give her a lot of praise and lots of clapping to make sure she's aware that she's done that correctly. I think this skill is very important because this is moving towards making active choice, which is what we did next after she'd learnt these objects. So the next step that we'd be doing is we'd show her and say, which one would you like? You choose. Would you like the duck or the ball? You choose. So you'd get her to pick which one she actually wanted to play with or which one she was referring to. So another skill we were trying to get Harper to do was to recognise her own body features or parts of the body itself. One of the ways in which we really found useful was the song Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. So she learns a lot through songs and music, because that's what she really likes to do. So we'd be doing the heads and the shoulders, knees, toes. And then now, after we keep using those, we practiced again for several months. We would say to her, Harper, where's your head? And at first, if she couldn't do it, you'd be gesturing. So Harper, where's your head? And you'd want her to touch her own head. Again, you would be doing lots of praising, and then you'd move up to the step of you not actually gesturing. So you'd be saying, Harper, where's your head? And hopefully she would be getting to the stage where she'd be touching. It did take quite several months, and she knows quite a few of her own features now. So she knows a head, a nose, eyes, lips and her toes. She still struggles with knees, hands and feet she can't do either, but we're working towards those. So we just do one at a time, favouring one, and then once we know that she understands where her head was, we'd move on to where is your nose? And again, you can use songs to find lots of different objects or lots of different parts of the body as well, which was always quite useful. Once we've done lots of choice between sort of the activities or the toys that she liked, is we started bringing that into daily use as well. So for example, if she wanted some milk, or if she wanted something to eat. Sometimes that's quite difficult to interpret because she can make a sign that may mean something in dual aspect. So we would then show her, so I'd show her like a cup of juice and maybe like a apple and say, what would you like, drink or food? And then get her to choose those as well. That's where at the stage we're sort of at now. She uses a word that refers to a bot, which could mean to us a bottle or a biscuit. So if she starts saying that word, we will then show her and get her to pick. So that's quite good as well. That's stopping a lot of frustration at the moment with Harper, with getting her to actively choose what she's wanting, because a lot of the time she understands what she's wanting but she can't actually articulate that wording. Other things that we found useful, so some of these are the products that we've bought that we find that Harper really engages with, and it gets her to do active choice and it's aiding some communication. We bought this little bag which is from Oscar and Ellen. I will link them below if I can. You can get them from various shops. They do also sell these on Amazon as well. But this is the song bag. So this has got lots of different animals. Let me just get them out. So we've got like a star, which is Twinkle Twinkle, a little boat for row 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 your boat, a bus. We've got a sheep for Bar Bar Black Sheep, and then Hop Little Bunnies. We've got all these little objects in here to which we can show them and say, like, which song would you like? Would you like Row Row or Wheels on the Bus? And you get to choose those songs as well, which have been really good. But these are also like little finger puppets, so you can sing and get her to put a finger in. And then we're now at the stage as well where we can just pop them all in the bag itself and get Harper to have a look inside and pick which song she wants, or find an object that she wants as well. You can take the choicing a little bit further to the next step with particular games as well. So you could get your objects like a duck, a brick and a ball and have little scarves and place things over them, and then say to the child, like, where is the duck? And get her to lift the scarves up until she finds the duck as well, to make sure that she is definitely finding the duck or the ball, and she understands that wording as well. So that's another bit which we are currently working with Harper on. She does this quite well now. I think we've been doing it for about 4 months with getting her to actively find things, which she does really well. We also found lots of like picture cards very useful for Harper to, we work with her on this. We used to pick a few cards out at first. It'd only be like 1 or 2, and then we take a selection now of about 10 and introduce new words and just keep showing her these repetitively day on day. Some of the things that we use are like these sort of cards, which we picked up from TK Maxx. I think they're always in there, different various ones. We've got food ones. They're only about $2.99, $3.99. But they've got like broccoli or gingerbread men or sweet corn. So these have got lots in these packs, which are really useful to use as well. Another one that we got from there were like these flashcards of first words. So these have got various things in, so we put them together with like animal selections, or you can go further on. They've got like ice lollies, balloons, so they've got lots of things like that. We've also got some really little books that are like first words, first numbers, first shapes, which we're going to be using those soon with Harper. She does read them at the moment, but we're not actively using those. We're stuck to using the cards and picking a few out. One of the books that we got recommended was this book, which is called My Day's First Words. We have a friend who actually has Down syndrome, and she's 36 now, and it was actually her parents that bought us this and said that she loved this when she was little. But it's got some just daily things, so it starts off with like getting dressed, and it's got like a trouser and nappy, and what we use this book for in particular is we'll say to Harper, where are the trousers? And we want her to point. Some of the things she can do, some of them she can't. So the ones that she can't, we will practice more and more. But they've got like play ones, and they've got the park, dinner time, bath time. So it's all the familiar objects that you'll be using in your day-to-day lives. But that one is a brilliant book, which you can get from Amazon. I will link it down below. In other forms of helping, this is particularly linked with Makaton. A good website is makaton.org. They have a lot of free printables, but you can also pay for a couple of things, which they're only a couple of pounds each, if you want to print any resources off there as well. But they have a lot of basic signs with the gestures on there that you can just print off yourselves. They also have a 100-word list, which is this is the common words that you want your child to be learning. We got this from Portage, but they do also have it on the Makaton.org. And the point of this is whether they can actually say it, sign it, or gesture pointing sort of to what they want, and you just tick it off as they go along. So if there's any particular area that you've noticed that they're not articulating or not gesturing in, you can then focus on those particular ones themselves, because Harper again is quite good at saying sort of like foods and things like that and animals, but she might not be so good at other sort of objects. Some other products that we've really liked that have been really useful in terms of Makaton for us, because I didn't know any Makaton prior to self-learning this. So we've got these cards which were just Makaton Flashcards. I got them from Amazon. I will try and link them below. But these were £10 for this huge pack, but they cover all sorts of different things in here. So that's like sleeping, but they also on the back spell it out from British Sign Language as well through the alphabet. But it's just amazing. They've got just, I'll put it upside down, but they've got loads, some of animals, some are just useful daily items, foods, things like that, all sorts of ones that you might want to learn the Makaton signs for, so they're brilliant. And then another purchase was these books. These are called baby signing books, and these, I got these for £5. I've only bought 2 from Amazon, but I have found since that there is another website. It's called something like Little Books Bugs or something like that. I will link them below because I can't remember the full name of what they're called, but on Amazon they're £5, but on this other website they're £2.50 each, which is like an absolute bargain because it's a hardback book, covers so much different Makatons. I've got one that's Makaton for signs, and if you open it up, it's just basically got a little baby. It tells you what it is. So like this one, like it's dirty, and then it explains how you sign dirty. Hot, more. It's got lots of different ones in this one, and then they've got all the rest of them are kind of themed. So this one is my first animals, but there's like my first park trip, my first getting dressed, all those sort of ones as well on the other website. So I would definitely look at those because Harper absolutely loves books. So visually seeing it, and it talks you through how you actually sign it as well. So yeah, they're really nice books for the price. Again, like everything with communication, I think it just takes time. Each child is obviously different, so do bear that in mind. What one child can do, another one might not do as quickly, or they might learn a different skill faster than the other child. This video is obviously just tips on how we have helped Harper communicate, and the advice that we've been given from her speech and language therapist and her portage therapist as well. How we found all these things work, again, like the other video, it's just little and often. We just do these in our daily lives as we're doing activities. So I now form lots of signs just as we're doing things in general. So hopefully in the hope that she will obviously pick those up, which she is getting really good. Harper's got about 50 Makaton signs or a verbal gesture for them. Some words are getting really clear now with Harper, and some are, we know what that sound means for her to be able to gesture. She's also getting really good at pointing for things as well, so that is another thing you can practice. But like I said, it's just little and often. I wouldn't stress too much about it. Just keep doing little bits throughout the day, and they will eventually just pick these little bits up. So that's it for today's video on communication. I hope you are really enjoying this series, and I'm hoping you're finding it really useful. If you are really liking these, I would love for you to give us a thumbs up, and if you really like all our content, then please make sure you subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you do really like what you are seeing on here and you want to see more from us, then please do make sure you check out our Instagram account at Bailey and the Babies. That's where we are most active, and you will see us on there daily. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely week, and I'll be back next week with some more Down syndrome therapy for you guys.